Well, the competition rifle season is officially done. There was the championship match in September, which I mentioned in one of the previous videos about this gun build. And they had one more match in October, which I didn't participate in. I just had other plans. I couldn't make the trip up there to do it. But this is about an overview for the season, how I did in the championship match, which according to the title, which I'll probably title it, I did win. And that was completely unexpected. Just as a quick recap for those of you that may be your first video about this gun series, the championship match is not an accumulation of all the matches throughout the summer. There's one match per month from, I believe it starts in May is the first one, and it goes all the way to October. The championship round is in September, and it's not an accumulation of how you do each month. It's just the championship match is the championship match, and that's it. You can shoot no other matches, show up for that one in September, and win the whole thing. And I'll throw up a photo as well. You get your photo taken next to the plaque that hangs at the range with your name and the score that you achieved. This here is a target that I shot. I will bring this closer so you guys can get a better look at the target. Now, the previous video that I did, I said that I did not go into this expecting to win. I wanted to be able to compete and hang with these guys that do really well month after month, that have been doing the longer distance shooting for longer than I've been doing. And this is at 440 yards, so it's not really, really far, but it's not a chip shot either. I wish the range was longer, but that's the range that I have access to for this club championship shoot that I do. Now, like I said, I didn't go in expecting to win this. I just wanted to be able to hang with these guys and do well and give me hopes that next year, when I start my reloading process, that I'll be able to hang with these guys more and compete for the championship. But it happened on, that day. And I had, I don't want to say a lot of pressure, but I had a lot of pressure on myself to do well. I've mentioned in other videos and stuff too, that my dad was a huge part of this gun club. He was a vice president for a long time. He was active with the club for decades and decades. Ever since I was a little kid, he was always a part of the Big Pine Gun Club, and he passed away last year. So I had like a lot of pressure on myself to try to do well, which I thought was probably going to hurt me more than anything. But I think he probably had a little bit to do with me winning. So that's it was good that he was still there in some way throughout all that. So as far as how I actually did for the match, I'll show a close-up of this in just a second. I shot a 288. I almost didn't win. It was really, really close. The guy in second place shot 2 points below me. And just as a quick recap on how these matches work, it's 3 rounds, 10 rounds each for a total of 30 rounds on the target. And whoever has the best accumulative score of those 3 rounds wins the match, or in this case, the championship match that we were doing. My first round, and like I said, I'll bring this closer so you guys can see all this too. I shot a 93 with 1 X running shot. Then my second round, which is what won me the championship, was the second round. I shot a 99 with 3 shots in the X. Now the X doesn't count for more points. It still counts as 10. The 10 ring is here. Still counts as 10, but the X is there to break any ties. So you have 2 people with the same score. Whoever has the more X shots will be the winner. And I've been knocked down 1 position before in some of the matches earlier this year where I tied someone on score, but they had more in the X than I did. So that kind of bumped me down. And then my final round was a 96 with 1 X for a total of a 288, 5 X shots, and first place overall. And I'll bring this target closer so you guys can see it. Now, as you can see, I had 1 flyer over here. I don't know what happened with that shot. And I did my sight-in shots, and I was shooting a little bit low. And so I made some adjustment to bring the shots up. And I think I did a slight windage adjustment, but I had more shots over here. So I should have done one more click over, but I didn't for that match. I didn't want to do too much adjustment. But as you can see, the majority of my shots were all pretty much here. Quite a few landed in the 10 ring and a lot like right around the X area too. But for the most part, they were kind of chunked in this spot here. But those are all 9 and 10 for scores. And other than this one flyer, it's a really, really good target. And over here is my individual round score. This was shot on 9/27. So like I said, 93 1x for the first round, 99 3x, and then a 96 1x for a total of 288 and first place overall. Now the thing that really surprised me about all this, I'm not trying to talk myself up at all, because a lot of these guys are really, really good shooters. But the one handicap I had all year over everyone else, ever since I've been doing these shoots, even without this rifle, even when I had my Tikka T3X, is I'm shooting factory box ammo. They're all shooting custom hand loads that they do for these shoots. And I was able to not only hang with them, but to beat them. So does that mean that factory loaded ammunition is just as good as hand loads? No, not really, because there's a lot of mistakes you can make with hand loading. I'm not going to dive down deep into the rabbit hole with all the things that can affect your accuracy and all that stuff with hand loading, but it all depends on how you do it. And these guys have shot targets like this. The guy that came in second place, he's probably my closest competitor all year from match to match as far as what we shot for scores. He shot 2 99s right in a row to my 1. His first round was, I believe, like an 86. I have to go back on the sheet. I'll throw up a photo of the breakdown of everyone's score and what they had. But his first round was not that good. Then he came back and shot 2 99s to my 199. He only missed 2 points by tying me. So, that's the big thing. Once you really dial in a load, you'll be able to chew this blackout in the 10 area and be very, very accurate. So going forward, that's my plan. I have almost everything for reloading. It's a daunting process going through having absolutely nothing for reloading equipment to getting fully set up to doing custom precision hand loads for, a custom rifle like this one. And it's taken a long time and it's a lot of money. It's not just buying generic reloading components and hoping to have really good accuracy. You kind of have to spend a little bit more on the stuff that's a little bit more precision related. So that's kind of where I am right now. There's a few items I have left to buy. For the most part, I have almost everything, but there's still some. I need actually the powder dispensing machine with a scale. I don't want to do the powder on a scale and weigh it myself and then dump it in. I want to dispense it on a dispenser with a really, really good accurate scale. So I still have that to buy. I have the case trimmer to buy. I'm going to get an L.E. Wilson hand trimmer. They're kind of pricey, but they're very, very accurate as far as the adjustment for how much you're going to take off. And my dies. The dies that I want are about $300, a little bit more than that. So, those are some more pricey items I have left to buy. All the stuff below that I already have. So it's once I get everything and the room set up as far as the reload and stuff, I'll go through and do a breakdown on all the components that I bought and everything that I'll be doing for reloading, the brass, the powder, the bullets I'm using, all that stuff. And also in the springtime, I'm not going to come back out and able to shoot this. This was with factory Lapua match grade ammunition. That's what I was using. And these rounds are about $170 for 50 rounds. That's really, really expensive. For me to shoot an entire season for the whole competition season, it would be like $600-700 just buying that ammunition, which I don't want to do, which is why I want to do custom hand loads. And so what I was getting at is that next spring, I'm not going to come out being able to do this when I shoot this gun again for the first time, once I start reloading, there's going to be a lot of trial and error for different powder charges to try, bullet seed in depth, all that stuff to see what this gun likes the best. And I'll do a video series on that too, of really dialing this in. And once I find a load that it likes the best as far as accuracy, I'll shoot off like 30 at the 440 yard range to see how I do as a simulation for a regular champion, not a regular championship match, but a regular competition match, and potentially how I do for the championship. Some of the things that you can never account on is the wind and the temperature that all affect accuracy. So because you do good one month doesn't mean you're going to do good the other month. I used the same ammunition the month before, and this thing was dialed in. It was driving tax at 440, right here in the middle in the black. The month prior, I came back. Probably wasn't even a month. It was probably like 2 to 3 weeks. I came back for the championship match, and on the sight in target, we have just a regular piece of paper with a black circle. You get 5 sighter shots to see where you're hitting, and then you make adjustments on your scope or your hold, and then we start shooting the actual match targets. And I was shooting down on the paper, like right down here on this corner. So I was down quite a bit. So I had to come up, and then I had to go over because I was a little bit to the left. So, and nothing changed. The turret settings on the scope had not changed from before. Different day, different weather. So those are the things you really have to account for when doing these matches. You can't find one particular load that it likes the best where it hits in the middle and expect it to do that again the next month. You really have to make adjustments depending on weather and wind and all that. What I'm looking for is not repeatability of it hitting in the middle every single time. I want repeatability of the grouping being small. And if one month I'm hitting, off here, off the black for my sight-in shots, and I can make the adjustment to put it here. As long as the grouping is all the same, that's all I care about, which is why the hand loads come into play. I had that one flyer out of here, and was that me? Was that the ammunition? It's really, really hard to tell. But by hand loading, you're taking away a lot of that variability and making it a lot more accurate overall. So as far as going forward, other than hand loading and all that stuff, what are my plans with this rifle? What I want to do is, when I first bought this, it's an extremely long gun. Now let me get my tape measure. I'll tell you just how long this thing is. So that's a really, really long gun. And one of the things I wanted to do when I bought this chassis at the time, this is an MDT ACC Premier Gen 2, it did not have a fold and stock option. So this is a fixed stock at the end. They have recently come out with the fold and stock option for this. And of course, they didn't just make an adapter for this existing stock. You have to buy a whole new stock, which is $500. That's just how it goes when you start doing custom precision builds and long distance stuff. Either PRS or bench, it gets expensive. So pretty much this will be coming off for the fold-in one. I'll throw a photo up of that. And what I also want to do is I want to Cerakote this rifle, which means I'm going to break it all down. I'm going to take the barrel and the action out from the chassis, strip the chassis down so the grip will come off, and I'll take this off, the stock, and buy the new one and send it all off to a place to get Cerakoted. And I'll throw up a photo now of a pistol that was done in the camo colors that I want to do on this. So with these colors in that camo pattern with this scope, I think that will look really, really nice. And I just kind of want to do something different as far as how the gun looks. I don't mind the green, but as you saw, the color that I picked out has a lot of green in it. But I just want it to be something more of my own, more so than what MDT did from the factory on it. Also, one of the things that I'm doing for next season, as far as a change in the setup, I had a bench rest for the front, for the front of the rifle to sit on. I'm going to go to a bipod with skis on it. I haven't quite decided which one I'm going to buy yet. I'm still kind of weighing my options between a few different ones that I'm looking at. But I think may have better results with that versus the rests that I had before. It doesn't quite adjust the way that I like it to. I mean, the adjustments on it's fine, but I don't know. I don't know if there's something wrong with it or if there's something I need to do to fix how it works. But like I'll go to spin it to adjust the elevation on it, and it won't move that well. I have to push down on it, and then it chunks down. Then I have to freaking spin it back up. So it's kind of a pain in the ass right now. So I'm thinking of going with a bipod. I heard they're very, very stable, especially the ones that I'm looking at. So that's, like I said, I'm not decided on which one I'm going to buy it. I'm looking at a few different versions, but I will be going to a bipod setup, at least trying it out initially. And if I don't like it, then I'll go back to the rests that I had before. So that will pretty much cover it. That was the season as a whole. I had expectations at the beginning of the year to do better with this rifle setup than I did. If you want to know more about this entire build, I'll link a video card up there or down in the description for all the components on this and a breakdown of, what this rifle actually costs to build. And, I had much, much better results with this than I did with my Tikka T3X TAC A1. I'm not saying that you can't do really well with that rifle, but when you're talking about custom components that are all, meant to work well together for precision with a custom barrel, it all flows a lot better. And out of all the guys that do these matches every month at the club, the competition shoots, everyone has something custom for the most part. There's not a lot of factory off-the-shelf guns that are just run as is off the shelf with nothing else being done. So there's kind of a bar to hit to really try to compete with everyone. And my biggest fear going into this season was to spend the money that I did on this rifle build and have it not shoot any better than the Tikka did, or either on my end or what the gun was capable of, where I spent all that money to be right back at where I was shooting like 260 and 250 total targets for a score, where now I'm shooting 288, touching into the right there, knocking on the door of 290s for targets, which is my goal for next year with the hand loads, is to consistently be able to shoot a target of 290 at 440. So that's kind of my game plan. Whether I reach that or not, we'll see. It all depends on how the hand loading process goes, which will be long, extensive, and exhausting, but I'm looking forward to diving into the reloading aspect and seeing how I do overall. If you have any questions about this gun, any of the stuff on it, leave it in the comments down below. Is there any questions you have, or I have a whole video playlist on this rifle itself and other videos on shooting if you'd like to check that out. Other than that, it was a great season. I really enjoyed it. I look forward to next year, and hopefully have the same luck that I did this year. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it. If you're new here, the sub button is down below, and the gun content isn't as often on this channel as the Cobra stuff, but I'm thinking of making another channel just strictly for guns and that kind of stuff, so that may be a possibility as well. But I hope you did enjoy the video, but above all else, thanks for watching.